Okay, we're going to throw it up in the coach, talk about Georgia. The game is at 1 o'clock Sunday, and it's Alumni Day. Coach?
Tough game ahead. Great day for us with the alumni coming back. And so it's always, I think, important on that day to try to give your best effort. For many people, it's the only time they get back each year, or maybe the only time they get back in every 5 or 10 years. And so I just, we want to try hard every game and play hard every game, but it's really special when when alumni comes back. And we got the 5-year anniversary of that 2010 team, so that's really special too. So we're excited to welcome our alumni back. So it'll be a tough game against Georgia. They are well coached, play really tough defense, hard to score against them, have a oiled machine on offense, run a ton of sets, do great stuff offensively. Just a well-coached team as always. Coach Lander's absolutely one of the best of all time. So tough game with Georgia, and we're going to work like crazy today, try to get ready for them.
Matthew, Michaela can start playing 40 minutes. Well, nobody can play 40 minutes like she did down the stretch. But if she can do it more consistently, is this potentially a big star?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think that is out of the realm of possibility. There's a lot of work in between where we are now and getting to that point, but it's certainly a possibility. She's very talented. I think she's got a high basketball IQ. She can affect the game in every phase. She can be a good defender. She can really rebound the basketball, great ball handler, great scorer, mid-range, good three-point shooter. There's definitely that possibility, and that's what we're trying to work toward. We're working really hard with her on improving, and I think it's necessary for this particular team for her to embrace that role and try to become a big-time player right now for us.
You've had a lot of good players. Does she have the potential to be as good as anyone you've had?
She does. I mean, she has the potential to do that, and it's easy to sit here and talk about that now. But people like Victoria Dunlap and went out and did it. So Michaela's got to go out and do it. But she has everything she needs to be a great player.
What does she have to be better at?
I just think that in her stage of her career, she needs to get much more just organized in her daily life and just kind of start approaching things more professionally as far as how she manages her life. And that's not to say that she has a bad life, or she's really one of the great kids I've ever coached, just from the aspect of what her heart is. And so I don't say any of that to suggest something negative. It's just young kid, not real focused, show up, play ball, go to class, be at class, but it's not all synced up. And so what we're trying, first of all, to do is just have her look out into the future, what you can be, and it's not all that far out in the future. We're coming to the end of her sophomore year, and 2 years have flown by, and 2 more will. And so you need to start thinking about in terms of, how do I handle my life? So, do I sleep 10 minutes until I have to be at class, or do I have to be at weights and they live right here by the facility, or do I get up an extra 90 minutes early and get in and get a workout in, get my shooting done in the morning? Do I come by the coaches' offices and watch film? So I think that's where we're really trying to start with her, is just her approach to life. And then with her basketball game, I just think she needs to keep showing up every day hungry in practice, and we're working with her on consistency on defense, playing hard every play, really go up strong around the basket. She's floating too much. Last night when she went up strong, she scored the last shot there. She floated and was like, "Ooh, I hope it goes in." Those little nuances of the game is what she needs to improve on. And then as a point guard, just knowing where everybody's supposed to be, more cerebral approach. And she's capable of all that, just a lot of work to do, a lot of work to do.
She said her decision-making is still suspect. Do you talk to her about that?
Yeah, we just need to work on it. The way that gets better is reps. And so, last night had just a big little switch there at the end, and their shortest player got isolated on Jennings, and their tallest player couldn't guard Jennings. One-on-one, if you just let them down in the lane, and it was like the Red Sea parted, and there was Jennings down there with guard, and we didn't get it to her. I mean, it's an experience that we need to learn from, and there's only one way to do that: play it, screw up, look at it on film, try to do better the next time, try to put her in that situation in practice today. And so the great thing about Michaela is she is willing, is from what I can tell right now.
Is Janae to a point yet where she can sort of work with Michaela and maybe try to help her?
Not as much as we're hoping. She's just still dealing with some pain, but she's around some. And like at halftime last night, she was talking, and she felt well enough to hang around for halftime. She was here after the game. Janae's seen it well, text in over at Missouri at halftime. So, yeah, I think she'll help her a lot.
How does Georgia look different without Barbie? I mean, obviously.
It's hard to tell, that it was just one half there against Tennessee, and now they've had a week to adjust. They didn't play last night. So I would say they will be as well prepared as possible, knowing Coach Landers. Without her, it just takes away an extremely talented, experienced, tough player that can affect the game defensively, on the rebounding, scoring. I mean, she's just a really outstanding player for them. So it's just absolutely horrible for that kid. It's horrible for anybody to have a season-ending injury, and it's certainly I don't know how it would not affect their team. It's just, how will it affect their team? And if I needed somebody to figure it out, Coach Landers is probably as good as anybody to figure it out. So they'll be ready. They'll play real hard. They'll be tough. They will know how to attack us and what our weaknesses are, and they'll put stress on that. And so it'll be a very difficult game, and they'll just be different without Barbie, and it'll be hard for me to know. Again, I'll come back to this. I've spent the day, on getting familiar with Georgia, but my thoughts are totally on our team and what we need to do. We've made a lot of progress over the last 10, 12 days, and we just need to hang in there and stay with that.
How do you work on the team around me after a loss like that? When you have so many chances, how quickly do you put it behind you?
Well, you have to right now. I mean, we're playing a Georgia team that will beat our tail if we don't get ready for them. So it's a wonderful thing from that standpoint. If you want to hang your head right now, Georgia will be more than happy to take advantage of that. So you can fuss and mull it over and stew and fume at the house like I did last night for 3 or 4 hours, and then you got to get up this morning and turn the page, man. You got to get going, because this game is in front of us, and that one last night's behind us, and we can do nothing about that one now except learn from it at the appropriate time, which we'll see those guys in a few weeks, and we'll have plenty of time to rehash that game and see what's going on and why we didn't win and what we need to do better. But today's not that day. We gotta turn the ship sailing toward Georgia, and we gotta be ready.
Is it a thing about think about what might have been, as opposed to say just sheer disappointment of a close loss like that? I mean, when you have chances at the end.
Yeah, I hate losing. I hate to lose. It's just gut wrenching. It's awful. And so if you get just smashed like we did at Duke, I hated that. You get beat by one last night, I hated that. I don't distinguish a lot between any of them. It just is awful, awful. And I hope we don't ever lose another one the rest of the time that I'm here. And if I can start recruiting like Cal, then maybe that is a possibility where you just never lose. So that's my goal right now, is to never lose another game.
What do you like when you're stewing, Matt?
Oh, it's just misery, man. I don't know how to describe it other than it's just miserable. It's no fun to be around, and Jenna takes the brunt of it, and she hates it too. She hates the losing bad. It is worse than I do because has to listen to me upset about things. But it's just, get in there for a couple hours and feel sorry for myself, and talk about what a bad coach I am, and how I don't know how to do anything, and hoping that Jenna tells me, no, you really are a great coach. She never does. So I just have to pep myself back up after that, because I don't get any help from Jenna on that. But it's bad, man. The losing's no fun. You gotta. But we don't. With this team, we don't have any time to waste, and I really do think we're improving. I really do. I think we're getting better. I think we're headed in the right direction. I think this team has a chance to be really good. And that's what we need to stay focused on right now. We got to just fight for improvement every day.
You have this next stretch of games could make or break whether you get a bye in that tournament. And I mean, you're playing some level right there with UT.
Right.
Do you look at the schedule as a whole, or do you really think about that?
You really can't. I mean, with this team, again, I said this week, with the championship team in 12, kind of felt like we had one of the better teams. Certainly had a chance. In 13, we lost it by one game. Definitely thought we had, a chance. And so your mind might wander at some of those things. With this team, I just didn't know exactly when we would become a very good team. And so I'm not concerning myself with standings, or, we need to win some more games and be an NCAA tournament team. And, I mean, there's a lot of things that we need to do along the way before we start thinking about big picture here. So just, it's an important stretch of games. All of them are. They're just going to be tough. But it is a time of separation. Georgia and I were 5-3. We'll play them once. If we have the same record, the game's meaningful. All of these games, that we play one time. So it's an important stretch. But I think it's important, for us right now to capitalize on some incremental progress that we've made. And if we can take another step this week and just build on what we have. If we could have done just a few things better last night, we certainly would have won the game. But those are things that we have to clean up in practice, like the press. We just did some incorrect things, and so we just have to correct those things. And so the only way you're going to do that is through practice, and that's why I'm excited to get to the floor today.
Anything else, you guys?
Thanks, guys. Pete, how'd my hair look?
Good.